What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. If you're not familiar with the Den is the best conversation on the entire internet. I mean, you can search high and low, you'll never find a better show. Because why? You say, Honcho, because you're an arrogant asshole. No, that's it's not it. It's not the case. It's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is because of you wonderful people who tune in each and every night. And you guys make this conversation so wonderful. Give me a second, I gotta cut this little light off. But y'all know what's going down. One of my personal favorites, and I believe a Den folk favorite, joining me this evening. You know, when this gentleman joins, there's always a great conversation. We got Mr. Man Up in the building. How you doing this evening, Mr. Man Up?
Oh, I can't complain, can't complain. Like I was telling you before the stream started, I had one of those days, but I think everything's all right. All
Okay.
depends on how you take it, how
Yeah.
you react afterwards.
I agree. Perspective is extremely important, and I think that's going to play a very big role in tonight's conversation. But let's see who we got
Yep.
joining us this evening. Let me make sure the body's on, because I don't want none of y'all stab me for no pistachios. But like, how should I make a nigga run up on you for these pistachios? Oh gosh darn it! I apologize. Pulling up at the house and me knocking on the door. Where's the goddamn pistachios, Honcho? Um, get that for y'all real quick. The body's out of order. Then we'll see what we got joining us. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. Hope everybody is doing good. I think that's a go. And clickety clickety, clickety clackety. Hit that button. And pistachios should be flowing now. All right. What is this? Okay. Here we go. There we go. I found the right thing. I see Mr. Man Up holding down the chat and the stream. The lovely Miss K Grace joining us this evening with the side eye. 17. What's the motherfucking deal? None canon. Interesting perspective. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. John, my favorite New Yorker. What's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. The lovely Miss Shonda Tony. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? Kenneth Cologne. Young Ken. How you doing this evening, sir? Ken and HB, what's the motherfucking deal? How you doing this evening? Travis DiMaggio, what's the motherfucking deal? How you doing this evening? I mean, I don't think there's really too much to beat around the bush on. Last night we were having a conversation. We were speaking on, the Haitians and the Hispanics and kind of how that was taking place at the border. And then as the night went on, I got a call from Miss Shanshan. Love speaking with Miss Shanshan. Very wonderful, very intelligent lady, and very interesting perspectives. And she was sharing her thoughts. We spoke about Trump. We spoke about a few different things, and that's the interesting thing is because that's why I like the Den, because if you listen to society, they'll try to hit you with this one size fits all mentality. Oh, yeah, everybody who is anti-Trump feels this particular way, or people who are pro-Trump got to feel this particular way. They got to be blatantly, blindly conservative, or whatever else it may be, right? And so the conversation was very dynamic, lots of different perspectives. Some of the people in the chat were agreeing with some of it, some were disagreeing with other parts, some were wholeheartedly enjoying the whole conversation. Some weirdo, I guess, had a lack of comprehension, felt some particular kind of way, and I got out of character a little bit last night, so I apologize for that to whoever was in here yesterday. I generally try my best not to be of that ilk. I just don't like deliberate ignorance, and maybe that individual couldn't help it. Maybe they're just ignorant. They don't know any better. So, but what got caught up in the conversation was a statement about reparations, and the role Africans, blacks, African Americans, depending on what you want to be called. I think there's so many different names, so many different people prefer different things. I think we'll get into that. That people had, different views on, right? And so, what are Black Americans do, if anything at all? And that's kind of the conversation we're going to get into. Because what a lot of things go back to, and they say in the statement, is that blacks were held back or are held back or were restricted due to slavery, right? And others say, man, it's been a long time ago. I didn't benefit from slavery. My ancestors didn't have slaves. Everybody was slaves at one point. Some will say, kind of get over it, you know, and just, I mean, various different things, right? And then some people are more sympathetic. Well, yeah, we're do this, and yeah, they have been held back because of this, that, or third. I think there's so many factors that go into every side, every view of it, and like I said earlier, perspective. That I think we want to dive into some of those things today or this evening. But let's start with you, Mr. Manda. What are your thoughts on slavery, the impact that it's had on Black society in America, and then your views on reparations as a whole? Do Black Americans deserve reparations?
Oh, wow. We still on this bandwagon, I guess. Say we still talking about slavery and reparations.
Mm.
If anything has taught me in my damn near 50 years on this earth, nobody gonna give you anything. So just cut that out. Some kind of which way, let's just say they give you reparations. They said right now, checks in the mail, it hitting your bank account, whatever.
Mm.
You know pretty soon, or some kind of way, you is paying that money.
Correct.
This country is not going to give you anything. Can't speak for other countries, but I know this one is not. Now, slavery thing. I've told y'all a billion times before in the past how I feel about it. Everybody has their own opinions, and that's fine. I'm not trying to tell you. But this is my opinion on it. At the end of this, all I'm saying is, yes, it was a bad thing, horrible thing that it happened to not just blacks. It happened to a lot of different races. Asians was slaves. Jews were slaves. White people were slaves. You had black slave owners. Excuse me, black people had slaves. Excuse me, that's what I'm saying. But I do not hear other people of other races talk about slavery
Mm.
like we do as black
Mm.
people. And I'm wondering why. I'm not trying to say get over it, move on with your life, but what I am saying is you can't move forward if you're constantly looking back.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I used this analogy before because it was told to me when I was like 15 or somewhere around there. I forget exactly when. Sit in front. I mean, go sit in the driver's seat of your car. You had that giant windshield so you could focus on where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have that small rearview mirror so you can keep in mind where you just came from.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is never forget where you come from, but you have to focus on where you're going more than where you came from.
I agree.
And all I'm saying is this here. If you're gonna think that someone is holding you down, holding you back, slavery held you back, I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna think that way. You're never going to achieve much of anything in life. If all you're thinking is, well, I can't get the job because this person here is racist, or they don't like me because I'm this here race, or whatever the case is. Hey, I don't know what to tell you because I've been down that road plenty of times as a black man in this country. Yeah, I dealt with racism. I don't let it bother me. If you want to be ignorant, if these people want to be ignorant, let them be ignorant. You're not going to change their mind. I've learned that. Well, I ain't going to say you're not, but it's very seldom that you're going to change somebody's mind on how they feel about you, the way you're looking. But um, I put it like this here. What I just told you I did today, Honcho, I'm not gonna put it all out there, but what I told you I just did today, what I just had to go do today, um, if I would have looked at slavery, I wouldn't been able to do it. If I was like, man, I can't do this, man. They gonna treat me like this, or it's because I'm black. No, it's not gonna happen for me. I can't provide a comfortable lifestyle for my little girl if I let my own dumb train of thought keep me from doing the things I need to do in life to set her up for success when she gets out into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? You got to let that mindset go. I'm not trying to say forget about slavery. I'm not trying to say it never happened. No, I'm not saying anything of such. But what I am saying is this: if you're still stuck in that mind frame, you're gonna stay stuck in there. Because by now, if you haven't realized that you can achieve anything you want as long as you put in the effort, put in the work, then you're gonna stay stuck in there.
I agree. Um, pardon me, because I'm nagging with a little thing in the background, something I want to test out. Hopefully, you'll get it to
I
work
like
during the
those
stream.
bricks.
But I agree. This is my thing, and we're kind of in the same view. And again, you use it, you understand it, but I think when most people focus on slavery, they focus on it in the wrong way, right? Again, it's
Yep.
something that impacted your history. It had a say so on how you ended up here if you are a Black American. Um,
Let me cut you off for a minute.
okay.
Hey, Lewis, come on now. Don't act like you haven't seen stuff like that, heard people talking like that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Please don't act like you have not heard or seen anything of such. My bad. Go ahead, Hunter.
Um, and so, like I said, I think the perspective in which people are, looking at it is important. And what I mean by that is you look at the outcome of slavery. Most people look at the outcome as we ended up on the bottom tier in America. We're everybody hates us. Everybody is all the negative aspects of it. But there's a funny thing because I've talked about this often, and that is the relationship between Black Americans and Africans. Now,
Mm,
Africans come over here and they tend to be much more successful, not only than Black Americans, but your average American. Because I think most cultures who've come from a place of lack um, use that as motivation. They see the opportunity. When they get there, they see everything they didn't have. The thing about what slavery did, and like you said, staring in the rear view, and instead of using, not only your front windshield, but your side mirrors and seeing what's around you to the left and right of you, um, is that Blacks don't realize that you were blessed because you were born in the opportunity. The work that those people who actually went through the days of slavery, Jim Crow, all these things, the people who fought, the people who, died, the people who got whipped, the people who got bitten, people who got sprayed with water hoses, the people who were segregated, all of these individuals who actually were on the negative end of it, that actually lived through it, that actually experienced it, not just, were raised up and talked about it or talked about everybody else's experiences. Um, Went through a lot so that you could take this opportunity and run with it. That's what I say, such and such walk so and so can run. It's always the same. The problem is, I
yep.
would think most Black Americans are moonwalking. They're not running with the opportunity. They walking backwards and making it look good, And it's just like, well, you dressing fancy and doing all this other stuff. You're complaining about the white man. You're complaining about, this, that, and the third. But you're doing a detriment to yourself because you are engaging in behaviors, especially quote unquote culturally, that would not benefit anybody. If it was the majority of white people doing it, then they would probably be on the bottom rung. Majority of Hispanics engage in these behaviors, celebrate these behaviors, then they'd probably be on that bottom rung. It's the fact that you're so focused on a time, an event, a place, or a time, an event, a time in history, which atrocities happened. But the reason why we speak on this more so than anybody else is because that was the last time those atrocities happened in a major way, especially we're talking about an international worldwide slave trade. Now, there are still slaves in Africa, the Africans still enslaving other Africans. You could have remained in Africa, say that there never was the slave trade. You could have been part of that. Could have been your family might have been part of that. Could have been a whole different thing. You don't know the outcome, right? So what I'm saying is that be upset, be unhappy, or not like it. I don't think nobody's glamorizing it except for those weirdo liberals in Hollywood who make the movies and make the money off of it, and then those people who go to the movies, watch them, and dress up like Kunta Kinte or put they cloth on and their whatever, and they just feel like, oh, this is a new age for Black people because there's pictures on the screen moving, talking about your history, which is whatever. A lot of people get off on that what I like to call slave porn, oppression porn. Makes them feel some type of way by watching actors reenact events in the past. I don't get off on this shit. I don't watch that shit. That shit has no appeal to me whatsoever. So that's just not going to occupy my mind. But in the case of reparations, right? I find this a very interesting, a very peculiar thing. And I do believe that Black Americans deserve reparations. But I'm going to say this in the same way that I say I love Black women. I don't love all y'all. It's only a small percentage that I find appealing, right? And that's because of a certain way they carry themselves and a certain standard. The only Black Americans I see or I feel that are fit and do anything would be those who suffered atrocities like those in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, people who actually had something that was forcibly removed from them when really it was, no fault of their own, I would say. Those are people who were truly hindered. Like I said, they had their own community, had their own shit, were bombed, were raided, were I won't say enslaved, but locked up. A lot of them, had to escape from their homes in a post-slavery era, right? And the crazy part about that, though, is a lot of those people eventually, and I won't say most of them, I won't say all of them. Everybody will say, no. A lot of those people came back and rebuilt. And, there's still a lot of niggas in Tulsa. It's, that a lot of those people, came back because the thing is, once you have a mindset of a certain way and you see yourself in a certain light, you act that way. You carry yourself that way. The problem that we have now is most Black folks in America see themselves still as slaves, and they look for every way they can to justify it. Well, I'm not in chains, but I'm a victim of economic slavery. I mean, you can point to several niggas who found ways to become rich. Well, that's because they catered to some white man. No, because they did something that was beneficial to people. The thing is, and especially when we're talking about poverty, we're talking about, things, groups who produce excel. You have to produce something that is useful to others. And then, that's where the exchange of currency, services, whatever it may be, comes into place. Most Black folks in America are not producing anything on a wide scale that's beneficial. Clothing, it's not necessarily that beneficial. That shit wears out, it fades out. It's not going to, improve. You got 1,000 choices of clothing to pick from, or music or things like that. Like I say, these things that don't really have a real benefit. Yes, people may pay for them, and it may get one particular person rich, or it may get people associated that camp rich, but it's not as a whole. More of these cultures who were successful have, what's the word I'm looking for? Manufacturing. Blacks don't manufacture anything. They don't create on that level. Like I said, you can go and you talk about like Germans. They are considered and attached to precision engineering, whether it be watches or cars or, whatever it may be. Asians are considered proficient in technology. Japanese, you want to say, oh, the Japanese stole the technology. Well, they might have taken it, they figured out a way to tweak it and make it better, or whatever they did do to it. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing about it is there's been groups all throughout history, even more so recent history, who were considered bottom tier groups, bottom level groups that found a way, made a way, changed their mindsets. Stop texting me that shit. And eventually rose to a respectable position in the world view. The Japanese were not always so highly looked upon. They were not always a rich environment, but they found a way. Like I said, there's been several cultures all over the place who've done this. And so that's the problem, though, is that what they did is they paid attention. They saw what worked for other groups. They saw what worked for, other cultures. They took it and they maximized it for themselves. They found a way to tweak it for themselves. We don't do that. Blacks in America are just waiting on the handout. Now you got those who may be athletes or entertainers, but we don't run any of those industries. That's somebody saying, I think you're good enough to, generate the attention I need. I'll pay you some money for saying this. I'll pay you some money for playing that. But you don't run any of those industries, though, even though it may be predominantly Black in basketball, where you're Black owners. You know what I mean? People ever say Jay-Z on like a piece of a percent of a team. He was kind of just a face to say something. Then he fucked niggas over to get the stadium built. You may have like Nelly somewhere. Again, it's funny that it has to be entertainers that become, owners. And this is not to say that there aren't rich blacks. There are rich black Americans in other fields of life, but we don't know them because they don't dance, they don't entertain, because our focus is solely based on that. We want to put out every new running back and rapper. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my girl gonna be the best dancer. She gonna be the best hairstyle. Like things that, yes, there are money in these industries, but who are you really catering to, and how does this benefit you as a group? How is this a skill that can be passed down, that can be scaled, that can be, provided to others, that creates the maximum benefit? And most of us are not in any kind of field of that sort. You know what I mean? And so that's what hinders long term. But anyway, but about the reparations, if there were to be any sort of reparations due, I would not say it needs to be monetary. And I've said this before. Only thing that I could see would be an education. If you were to give anything, it would have to be an education. Trade, if you want to go to a 4-year college, but then we know niggas don't take the most challenging collegiate courses. And that's why I say when we talk about most educated and we talk about most enrolled, or we talk about, oh, well, I got the same years of schooling as this person, why am I not getting paid this? Because the field that you choose, we generally choose fields that are not in mathematics, that are not in more rigorous courses, not in science, not in technology. It generally tends to be education. We see what's kind of going on with that lately. So, and that's not a knock on anybody who's getting a degree, but anybody who's gotten a degree spent a significant amount of years in school and they're complaining about it. Well, I spent 10 years in school and I got a master's and this person is this. Well, what is your master's in? That explains it. Just because you spent the time in school doesn't mean you should get paid the same amount as somebody else. What is the thing that you do? How does it contribute to society? Is it a service, a thing that you can scale to reach more people in a certain amount of time? And that's how you end up making more. But we don't look at stuff like that. We tend to approach it from a much more emotional state. And so I know that people say, oh, it should be money. Sure, give them money. And it's going to end up just like the Dave Chappelle skit. It's going to end up just like anything else. Cream is gonna rise to the top. It's gonna be some motherfuckers who look just like you, gonna finesse you out of what you got. Or if you don't have a financial education, understanding of how to use the money to your benefit, you have a bunch of niggas run out and go buy a house or a car or this, that, and the third. The same shit that happened to these motherfuckers who end up finessing and getting these PPP loans or these other things and all that. Instead of actually using that money to say, okay, let me set myself up long term to where I'd never have to do anything like this, where I'd never have to scam, or even if I did have something legit, whatever going on, I got my kids will be set up permanently where the rest of my family we can all benefit and we can rise out of this impoverished situation. Motherfuckers went and bought weave, motherfuckers went and bought eyelashes, shoes, went and bought, Gucci and bought the bags and had no money left to put in the bags, went and bought the cars and all this stuff and stayed in the projects. Right? Like,
look at it like, oh my bad. No. Look at it like this here. Think about every time tax season come around. You'll see people going and buy the big screen TVs. They'll buy some clothes or some jewelry, whatever. Then a few months later, they trying to sell it, or they're going to go pawn it or whatever. I also look at it like in one of those Ice Cube movies. I think it was Barbershop. Cedric and Tanner said, "What's they gonna do? Make Cadillac the richest dealer in the country, in the world?" Because, which is true. What you gonna do? People don't understand how money really works. A lot of people think when they get money, they just go spend it. They try, especially these days, they're trying to what they call flex on other people. I could give a rat's ass about what the hell the next person got, and I'm not trying to show you what I got. You might see very little. That's it. I'm not showing you anything because I'm not trying to bring that attention to myself.
Correct.
Here's the thing, though, man. I agree with you because I did not think about that. You're right. Those that really deserve it, like the people in Oklahoma, or if you're going to get reparations, take your ass to school, learn a trade, go to college, get some education, something. You know what I'm saying? I did not think about that, and you have a great point about that. But just to hand out money, everybody gonna be rich for like a month, then everybody gonna be broke. You can't tell me because we see this on a regular basis. Like I said, look at taxi. Wait till tax season come about. You're gonna see what it is I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait and see. Once middle of January, February, whatever hit, you're gonna see people at Walmart or all these places buying TVs. You're gonna see people at Foot Locker buying shoes. You're gonna see all these delivery trucks around your house or whatever. Then next thing you know, you ain't gonna see that stuff no more. People ain't gonna have all that crap. They're gonna be knocking on your door, calling your phone, begging you, because that's just how it goes. People don't understand. Money is to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, like I preached before, if you okay, let's just say right now you got $1,000 in your pocket. I'm just giving an example. I know everybody's situation is different. But anyway, take it for what it's worth. Let's just say you got $1,000 in your pocket. All right. You got rent, you got mortgage slash rent, excuse me. You got all your bills. If you have kids, you got to pay to eat. Got to put gas in your car, your transportation. All that good stuff. People don't think about that stuff. They just take that $1,000 and they're gonna go do this and do that. Kind of like that one dude in Chicago, uh, bought a $40,000 chain with his PPP loan and got it snatched off his neck in a corner store. It's like, are y'all serious? So you just spent $40,000 on a necklace and it's gone, just like that. You don't think about, the crazy nonsense. And I know we as black people, we love to say, man, I wish a motherfucker would. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Then when that shit happens, who the first person you call? And the people you say you hate the most, the police. Like, come on now, let's be real. You know what to do with your money, just do it. Just be respectful. Things are gonna come if you be patient and you do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do with their money. It's your business, your life. But all I'm trying to say is just this: giving somebody reparations is not the answer to everything. That's just a quick fix, like putting a band-aid on something. Instead of stitching it up, they just put a band-aid on and say, "How much business?" No, give like you just said, and I did not think about that. You got a point. Get somebody education that would last you for the rest of your life. It can do wonders for your kids and maybe your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Go get education. Go learn a trade. Yeah, if you want to pay for my college education or my kids' college education, yeah, that'd be great. But other than that, just handing the people checks. It's gonna be just like I said, tax season or the PPP loans. It ain't gonna be no different. Watch and see what I tell you.
And real quick, Jay LaMel, that's why I kept telling you on the soft stream to hang up and just call back because it wasn't showing up. I didn't realize you were still on the thing. I thought you just gave it because it wasn't showing up on the thing. So I did not intentionally, uh, you know, do that. For reparations, Heidi, I had to take your pistachios so I can redistribute them amongst the black because your white privilege has allowed you to allocate too many pistachios. I don't approve. But shout out to Joseph Sweatshirt and some of the other folks that brought this point up in the chat. Let's talk about reparations, especially in this day and age of wokety woke, right? So, we got to respect everybody's beliefs, right? We got to respect how everybody feels. So, who gets to decide in the first place who would get the reparations? And then two, what's to stop somebody from saying, "Hey, well, I'm transracial, you know, I deserve the reparations too." What is it we love to scream as niggas? We love to do the one drop rule, right? So you telling me somebody who has been, white from the founding fathers of America all the way until, they just had a kid, a mixed kid yesterday. That mixed kid deserves reparations. Does that mixed kid not get the quote unquote white privilege that you talk about? Where does it start? Where does it end? You know what I mean? Like I think it's become too complicated. Do we give it to the Africans who come over here? You stole their brother or their cousin that could have been the one that saved Africa from all these atrocities. Like, where does it stop? Everybody will have an excuse. Everybody will have a handout. And Heidi, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say so, has a very decent point, but it also kind of, I guess I kind of overlooked, I don't want to say overlooked it, but it ties into my point when she said about the education thing, right? But that's kind of the purpose. the reparations and education would be for those who truly want to do better. Because if you're talking about the kid from Baltimore with the
Oh my
0.0436
God.
average, whatever, motherfucker don't want to be shit. So he will remain not shit. So anybody who chooses not to take that benefit deserves to remain where they are. Because we're offering you a chance to get the skills, to get you out of poverty, to elevate yourself, to educate not only yourself, but your family and whatever else that comes with it. And for you to pass that knowledge along to them. But if you choose not to want it, if you feel like whatever, then that's on you. Then there's no excuse. So I think like you are right. I'm still keeping your thousand. I'm still keeping your thousand pistachios, but at the same time, that's on them. Yeah, exactly, and that's the problem. People want payment for something someone else did, and who's to say? Who's to say? Yo, grandma wasn't a lazy slave. Who's to say your grandma wasn't off hiding behind the barn? You know what I'm saying? Shirking the work while Shelly Long grandma was out there doing all the work, and Shelly lazy as shit now. And so Shelly Long probably was a hard worker, probably spoiled her ass.
Oh my God.
Shelly was about the next generation after slavery. I don't know how old Shelly is, but she ain't too far from it. She about damn near uh, a slave herself. She should call in and tell us how it was in those days. And she always talking shit. Keep pounding that shit. But no, like how do you allocate how much work you got? Oh, well, we checked the records. I'm gonna be honest. Your grandpa ran away from the farm, so you're not getting paid. I'm sorry. He didn't fulfill the contract. I mean, like how do you get to dictate, right? How do you get to choose, right? Um, and so that's the thing. Like there's so many if, ands, buts, maybes, whys, and transitions that at this point, it's sad to say, it's unfortunate. But I know there's people who will point to some of the shit going on where some of these motherfuckers are talking about the gays are getting reparations, right? And that's a decision. That's a choice. Like how do you get gay representation? You know what? I'm gay for today. I need my pay. You know what I mean? Like what's the fuck? It's like what? How do you know? Right? That's my
Oh
thing.
my goodness.
You
Well,
know what I'm
let
saying?
me ask you this: if you're gonna go that route, do Little Richard, get a gay reparation check?
Well,
Because if y'all know the story now, he's no longer gay.
mm,
So do we get that check?
mm.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's
Oh,
again, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a point. Like, how do you decide, right? And again,
yeah.
I'm kind of like, and to go along with what John said, there were several well-to-do families, honestly, back then. You don't hear about it because that doesn't fit the narrative. There were black doctors then. There were, like I said, lots of you. It's somewhere involved in what people will call now the elites, the bourgeois. Some of y'all who believe what the boule is this and not that, that's a whole other conversation. But that were well to do. And like I said, that's why you have some of those black elite groups in society. What was it, the Jack and Jills and groups like that, who a lot of them did not deal with those issues, right? A lot of those people's families were always pretty well off. Um, and if you listen, there's documentaries out there that they talk about. And I found that to be actually very interesting, very eye-opening. Um, and so that's what I'm saying. Like, who gets to picture who? Because well, at some point in line in your generational line, somebody made some bad decisions and fell off, and your family tree started to rot. Like, who do you blame for that, right? Because what I don't understand is how, for the most part, and after slavery, black folks wasn't the best of circumstances, but things were trending up for them. If you check the records, up until around the 1960s, then shit hit a nosedive. You look at pay, if you look at comparative wages, if you look at family structure, if you look at education, if you look at all of these things, um, for blacks prior to quote unquote civil rights getting involved, things were working themselves out. But then you had people who had to jump in and say, well, this is this and this is that, and it's not fair because, yeah, we were set back because, again, the cream rises to the top. In a matter of generations, you've seen people who were at the bottom of the caste system, if you want to call it that, to a few of those people, and I'm not talking about the entertainers or the athletes or those folks, um, becoming some of the most successful people in the country. You've seen brain surgeons, you've seen real estate moguls, you've seen all kind of different various things. You've seen a lot of pastors and preachers. That's a whole nother conversation. You might throw the pastors and preachers in there with the entertainers and the athletes. So they just milking the neighborhood. They ain't giving nothing back. But again, you got a lot of that. And instead of focusing on that, we want to focus on, well, there were some slaves back there, and I want, payment for their work.
Let's put it like this here. You talked about this several times. Madam C.J. Walker.
Right.
You know who that is? Her real name is Sarah Breedlove. Breedlove.
Mm-hmm.
Born a slave, died a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Selling hair products. She was an African American entrepreneur, philanthropist, politician, and social activist. If she can be born into slavery and die a millionaire, those are the worst conditions ever in this country. Why are we still using that stuff today? None of us alive it has never been a slave. It's never been a slave. We're probably a slave in our own mind, but we're not a slave. Madam C.J. Walker, born a slave, died a millionaire. Why are we using that excuse today? And even back then, it's still hard for her to get anything, do anything, but she still made it happen.
Yeah. Like Annie wasn't using that formula right, John. See, CJ said, "Let me go ahead and show you how to do. Let me show you how to put this thing out there right."
Yeah. So, what's the problem? That's why I said we're not going to move forward if we constantly looking back at my humidifier. Getting to the screen, I don't want anybody talking crap. But
end up hitting the bong over there.
but you made me lose my train of thought. But yeah. So why are we over here complaining? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, name me a worse condition than since everybody wants to bring up slavery, talking about how slavery impacted us. This is somebody who was born a slave, died a millionaire. So why can't you make it happen? That's the excuse. I'm not saying everybody's supposed to be millionaires or nothing like that, but you can have a comfortable lifestyle. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You could be comfortable. Yeah. I agree. But we make excuses for every single thing. And that's the one thing that I hate. Put it like this here. I don't even know how to describe his relationship to me. He's not a friend, just somebody I know. I put it like that. Made it an excuse not to go get a job everywhere he went. Oh, they racist over there. Oh, they don't like black people. Oh, they wouldn't hire me because, whatever. It's like, really? I mean, that excuse you gotta give that up. You gotta let that go. If you are constantly sitting here using that excuse, you're not going to get it. Right. That's just what it is. That's just how this thing works. You know what I'm saying? I put it like this. I've told this story plenty of times before. I've been pulled over several times by the police. And yes, I do think some of those times was because I'm black. I'm not gonna lie, sit here and say it wasn't. It wasn't. That's just what I believe. But did I act like any one of these other people that you see that became victim of the police? I put it like that, like a phrase. No, I did not. Why? Because I did what the hell I was told. I didn't act like I'm the big badass and nothing like that. I've told some of y'all my story, how things got what's the word I'm looking for here? How things I was down and out. Put it like that. Right now, I'm doing great for myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no excuses. I had to think, what was it that I was doing that got me in that position? I had to flip that around. I had to do a complete, 180, 360, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I had to get out of that crazy mindset. It's because of this and that. No, it was because of me in the way I was thinking. No. It's because I was holding myself down. Like I just said, what is since we like to use slavery so damn much, as black people, we like to use slavery as the worst thing ever to ever happen to us, even though, like I said, none of us alive today was in slavery. Slavery ended 200 some years ago, whatever. Nobody's that old. So What's your excuse?
And
And there's a bunch of people that are successful, financially successful, I'm putting it like that, that's not ball players, that's not in the music industry, uh, all that. You got black judges, you got black scientists, astronauts, got people who own, excuse me, sorry. You got people who own car dealerships. I mean, come on now. So what is the you gotta come up with a different excuse for what I'm trying to say. You have
I agree. And the
to.
thing
Once
is,
again,
well,
oh, go ahead.
I say what it is because, like I say, thoughts dictate actions, right? And
True.
so, when you are inundated, again, usually it's generally more liberal-minded folks always telling you, you got it bad because white man held you down, or the slavery. That's why you can't compete. That's why you can't do this and you can't do that. And they continue to reinforce this negative manner of thinking. And so you apply that. You correlate your lack of success with slavery, when it's not that. It's the bad decisions probably made through the generation of that, because those people also who were thinking of the same way. Like, yeah, I talk about, there are situations that take place. There are some people who get the unfortunate end of the stick. There's not the majority of them. But when you're sitting there thinking, slavery, you begin to act that way. And I'm not saying you walk around like, yes, a massa, but like you said, there's races there. So you're going to cut yourself off from opportunities. You're going to think of yourself as lesser than. You're going to put yourself on a lower tier, right? And while people sit there thinking, oh, see, they conspiring against us to keep rich people who are well-to-do, whether they white, black, Arab, green, gray, outer space, I don't know what the fuck. They are not worried about the individual poor man. They're probably thinking, here, the poor person has a mindset like this, and if I present this thing, then they're probably more likely to purchase this thing I'm selling, or whatever but that's not their fault that they're selling this thing. It's the fault of the person who maybe lacks the discipline and buys it, or whatever it may be. And so it's the same thing with like niggas who talk about, the reason that we all fucked up is because of the crack era. Crack era was fucked up. It was. But who made you smoke the crack? Who sold you the crack? I don't care if Reagan had it all shipped in. I don't care about none of that shit. Nobody made you do anything. Oh, they dropping guns in the hood and they leaving them, Well, it must be in your nature to be a bad person if you find some guns in the hood and you say, well, you know what? I'm finna take these motherfuckers and go rob everybody. Or I'm finna take these motherfuckers and go shoot that nigga across the other side of town I don't like. Like, who is that an indictment on? It's not, I mean, okay, hey, I lost some guns. They left a bunch of shit over in Afghanistan, right? Nobody told the Taliban, go get them guns. Yeah, they did what they did. And you can say, well, that's human nature. Well, then humans is fucked up, right? Like, no, it's nobody's fault but the person who commits the action. It's your lack of
Yep.
discipline. It's in your nature. Obviously, it was in you to do these things. And so we look for ways to not take responsibility for any of that shit. Like, who's benefiting off the crack? As they put the crack in the hood so they can come to, man, so they made y'all start rapping about that shit too? They made y'all
No.
start, like, I mean, niggas, again, NWA, as far as I'm told, the story, the movie shows that it wasn't no white man just walked into the hood and picked up old niggas and said, y'all niggas start rapping about crack cocaine. I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to take you over. Just start rapping about the crack and I got you guys. Like, nobody did that. You chose to do that. Like, personal accountability is a motherfucker, right? And I know
Yeah.
people just said, oh, I'm just telling the stories of my neighborhood. Well, when you no longer live in that environment, why don't you change the story? When you become rich and famous and you're not in there, why don't the story change? Why do you continue to tell the same story? Hey, you know what? Hard work and effort, even though it was this way or that way, got me up out the hood. You can do it too. No, let's continue to rap about it so it continues to happen, so we can continue to talk about it and continue to find somebody else to fucking blame. All of this shit ties into the mentality. You know what I mean?
Let me ask, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Huncho. You said that. Who do you blame more, the drug dealer or the drug user?
Hmm. Hmm. You gotta blame the user.
Me too. That's what I said.
Yeah.
But we was all taught leave that stuff alone. Just say no to drugs, all that crap. You know what I'm saying? Now, it wouldn't be no drug dealer if there was no drug user. I know people gonna say, well, it wouldn't be no drug user with no drug dealer. Okay, what came first, chicken or the egg? You know what I'm saying? I put it like this here. My point in asking that, man, is that nobody, like you just said, nobody told NWA to start rap. Good music. I loved it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, I said didn't, but good music. But did it did, did it make anything better?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of crazy stuff. I don't sit here and talk about that on a regular basis. If you ask me one off or whatever, I might tell you a little bit about it. But I, you know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of crazy shit in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? I moved past it. Now I try to, um, I guess you could say, be a positive person in, in the den, or just be a positive person in my life. Period. Excuse me. So my whole thing is this: here, you have to change your mindset. That's what I'm getting. You have to change the mindset. If you don't change it, you're gonna stay there, and I'm just gonna say peace. I'm gone. If you don't want to work because you thinking that person's racist, well, guess what? You could keep thinking that, and don't come ask me for no money to pay your bills because you could do the same thing. And I'm, you see what I'm saying? Don't
Oh,
try to
yeah.
look down at me, call me uppity or snob and nothing like that, because I've had people do that too. Only thing I'm saying is, like you just said, you thoughts does turn into action most of the time. And once you sit here and you say, I can't do this because of that. And I've heard that too many times from people. White man put these drugs in our neighborhood. I want to know. I've never seen not one white man just drop it off at your house or leave it on the corner for you to go pick up and go sell. Not one. And I grew up in the hood. I have yet to see
Where is the free drug man? I have not seen him. Does he get to pick who comes up? All right, this guy looks like a sporting young lad with a bright future ahead of him. He's definitely going to go to college with that education he's getting. Let me drop some crack on him. Hey, go sell that. That'll make you a lot of money. So get your mama up out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what's going on now, Diana. You know what I'm saying? You said dirty Diana. Oh. Let me
it.
see. You had a comment there that says, then you tells how them black people got over here since you're so smart and you're so positive thinking. Didn't say that they all willingly came. I don't think that was necessarily just. We talked about slavery being a thing. We didn't say slavery was a positive thing. We said afterwards, and what's been going on. The way you think about stuff is what it is. But if we want to address how they got over here, yes, some were stolen, some were already slaves sold by their fellow African brethren, um, and they were marketed and sold. I mean, that's what it is. They rode the ship. And when people ask about the thing about what was it when I say about Kanye and when you talk about slavery was a choice, and I say I absolutely agree, and people, oh, you're wrong. You think they chose to jump on the ship? No, but there were those who chose to jump off the ship because they knew what was happening, and so they'd rather kill themselves than be slaves. I'm not saying that there is a good choice and a bad choice. There's a terrible choice and a worse choice. Um, that was what was that? I was reading something. They were talking about I can't remember if it was Chinese in Malaysia or something like. Because I mean, every group, Asians especially, Chinese in a lot of places have been ostracized throughout history. Um, and I forgot where they were, but it was a lot of them that were once they found out they were basically committed to slave labor. A lot of them off themselves because they would rather die than be slaves or whatever. So they made a choice, right? And the choice was suicide over slavery. And I'm not encouraging anybody, hey, to do that. But it's a choice that was made, and it's something to acknowledge. So again, it's sometimes there can be bad and there can be worse, right? And so the fact that they came over here, the fact that slaves are here, that we're here now, I mean, what does that necessarily have to do with it? We can't go back and change it, but what we can change is right here at this point in time is the way you think about your current circumstances. That's something you have control over. I don't got a magic time machine. I don't got a Mr. Peabody with the glasses. You know, Scotty's name used to be Mr. Peabody, but when I got him, I changed it to Scotty because I thought that was whack, and he didn't wear glasses. So, you know, like he ain't take me on. He ain't had no time machine when I got him. So I'm like, man, this dog don't know history. He sucks. So, you know, it's just like we can't do anything about that, and that's the problem. Like I say, I'm not in the business of associate myself with other people's problems, right? Like, and what I mean by that, if I know you and you're going through something, that's one thing. But for me to see halfway across the globe, some people are just being oppressed, and I know there's nothing that I can do about that. All I can do is pray for them, wish them the best, wish that they have a positive outcome, and whatever needs to take place, take place for them. But I can't sit here every day just, you know, life's a piece of shit because those people over there are just, they're down bad. I gotta think about myself, my family, my friend. I was like myself, like, and my duty is to try to do the best that I can. I can have empathy for people, you know what I'm saying? But like, I cannot go back in the past. Like, it was fucked up. What happened to slaves? It was super fucked up. It, it was an atrocity. It was terrible, right? But that's all I can say about it. There's nothing that I can do to change it. But I have the power here and the now to, one, not sit here and tell a little one, focus on slavery all this dog every day because white people are terrible and they're gonna make it back. And then what? You're gonna have this mentality again of powerlessness because everybody who thinks that way feels powerless. They feel weak. Everybody who sits there and believes there's the big bad invisible white man with his foot on their neck, keeping them down. You know what I'm saying? Invisible, non-material foot is keeping you down. You know what I'm saying? It's just it doesn't exist. But somehow it's just, that's your mind. There is no big bad invisible white man. Like it's you. It's the shit that niggas you was around growing up told you. It's the shit that you watch, the shit that you listen to, telling you that. It's white liberals telling you that shit and telling you, oh, the reason why you can't make it is because, the white man and I hate being white. Like, that's just weird to me. Like, you white man, be happy that you white. Like, what are you mad about? Like, that's just the way the dice roll. It's a cosmic situation. Nobody has control over your outcome, how you come out in the world. If that was the case, if you did, I'm pretty sure people who have had defects and things at birth would probably choose not to, right? Nobody has a say so over these things, right? It is what it is. And so people, I won't say are corrupt, but people have dominated other people forever. That's the way it goes. The strong dominate the weak. The smart dominate the dumb. They're going to find a way. And it may not be a direct physical domination, but it's going to be a way. People who are more intelligent in other areas are going to finesse others who are not so adept in those areas. That's just how it works. I mean, if you like sports, guess what? The better shooter on the basketball court, the better dribbler is going to dominate the lesser dribbler. When he falls and he stumbles, it's fucked up. But you laugh, you cheer for it. Oh, but it's because it's your guy. If it's your guy's the one that's doing that, you're cheering for it. If you're on the other side, that's fucked up. Fuck that guy. It's the same thing in the game of life, baby. This is the game, and there are consequences. But when you stop being upset about the shit that you cannot fucking control, start rolling the fucking dice, and you start playing. Sometimes you're gonna crap out, but sometimes, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a jackpot, and sometimes it's gonna. I don't know the dice terminology. I'm not on the corners rolling dice on the block. I don't know the slangs, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, bro, you can win, right? You can win. You know, well, you may not be a part of that championship team. You know what I mean? You may not feel like your whole culture and your group in society is winning, but guess what, baby? You can be the regular season MVP. You know what? The regular season MVP is doing pretty good for themselves. They might not have a championship. Barkley might not have that fucking ring, but he's doing pretty good for himself. You know what I'm saying? He's still gonna go down in history. We, the people who don't ever compete, want to talk rings and all that other bullshit. But it is, what it is, right? Um,
Let me
so
put it like this.
yeah.
Let me go with your analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Karl Malone in that mix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Pretty good. John Stockton. Throw them in that mix. Pretty good for himself. Okay? Let's also put it like this here, man. Let's put it like this. If you want to constantly sit here and say that you can't do this or that because of someone else, how is your woman gonna be able to respect you as a man, or your man can respect you as a woman. You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going from. Okay, I'm gonna say this. If I said to my wife right now, I can't go get a job because the white man is holding me back, how is it that my wife gonna look at me? She's not gonna look at me as a man. She, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna tell me, you can get your ass out there and go do something. You see what I'm saying? Who is I'm just stuck on this here because I've said this too many times. I've heard this a lot, and I'm more of like this type. I had this in my head, like I said before. I'm not trying to say I'm a billionaire, trillionaire like that, but I'm doing pretty decent for myself. I'm doing pretty good, and I come from a, a I'm not gonna say a poor background, but I didn't have a whole lot growing up. Feel like that. Lived in the hood, uh, things like that, and yeah, I made some mistakes along the way. That's called life. But I think I'm okay right now. Like you just said, yeah, you didn't win a championship, but guess what? The regular season MVP is doing pretty good. Even people that probably never won regular season MVP still doing pretty good for themselves.
Yeah.
Probably just made it to the playoffs a few times. Never, made it to the championship game. Still doing pretty good for themselves. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we could throw Dan Marino into that mix too. you know, it, uh, I'm just trying to make it relatable, but what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, man, all I'm saying is, and we talk about Dan Marino a lot. You know what I'm saying in sports. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest ever to play sports, but to never win a championship.
Right.
Same with Barker. But if you stay in that mindset, then guess what? You're gonna be out the game. You're gonna be out the league. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be one of those homeless, broke, ball players.
Latrell
Like in
Sprewell. You
wow, yeah.
fucking fuck around being
uh,
Iverson. Iverson had everything in the world, and he was talking about it was a point we couldn't buy a cheeseburger or some shit. Like, you know, and that's crazy. And to think of how famous at one point in time Iverson was. You know what I'm saying? But again, that goes to show you right there, like that a lot of these athletes, Antoine Walker, guys like that,
that's what I'm trying to think about.
that's the case for reparations right there. Okay, you give athletes money for doing something they love, playing a sport, right? And yes, there's work that goes into it. You know, of course, you're getting revenue because it's the entertainment, it's the eyes that you bring. That's being able to scale your talent. If you playing ball in the park, you the coldest nigga in the park, you ain't making no money unless you gambling with other niggas in the park. But if you entertaining millions of fans around the world, then yeah, you're gonna get millions of dollars. But it's still basketball, right? Still basketball, right? And the thing about it is, you're giving people millions of dollars to play a kid's game or a game. I won't say a kid's game, a game, right? Uh, when you're outside of the game, you got all this money to spend. You still see all these stories of motherfuckers who go broke, right? Got all these advisors, got all these people around them who's supposed to be looking out for them, and this, that, and the third. A lot of these people have egos for whatever reasons. They've been put on the pedestal for being able to play a sport. What happens? What happens? Where does all the money go? If these motherfuckers had some of them hundreds of millions of dollars, if they can lose it, what do you think the next motherfucker's gonna do? Uneducated, been in the hood their whole life, especially in a project, probably ain't had a door on their shit or whatever else. They never had nothing nice. And as soon as that check cash hit that direct deposit, say it was a fucking $1 million. Say they gave you $1 million in reparations. What are those people gonna do? 2 weeks, they're gonna be back right where they at.
Just look at that woman who won the lottery, 180 some odd million.
Yeah.
$1 million in I think that was North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, but wrong about the state. She's broke. In what 3 years she was broke.
Crazy.
Got $180 million on the lottery. Broke.
It's crazy. Motherfucker didn't
Think
select.
about that.
Buy a nigga
That's what I'm talking
a
about.
studio
I'm
and
not,
shit.
yeah. Now I'm not saying that some people won't be successful with it. Some people might.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think that's gonna really do for you?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna teach you how to respect money. It's not gonna teach you how to work hard to earn money. Uh, things like that. It's not gonna teach you to respect the hard times you went through. Nothing like that. Because you're constantly sitting here waiting for a handout, waiting for somebody to give you something. Oh, they owe me.
Mm-hmm.
How they owe you? Why? Because your great, triple great, quadruple great grandfather back in the day, you know what I'm saying, was a slave. They owe him, not you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then all of us owe some money. Shit, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like I said before, I know that being in this country so long, you ain't getting nothing for free.
No, no.
They're gonna raise taxes up on something. 5, 6 years down the line, they're gonna send you that letter in the mail talking about you owe them this, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't getting nothing for free in this country. So we can cut that mess out. And then I got another one for you, Huncho. You're right. How do you decipher all this? What about the people that was born in America, but now they moved to another country? Do they
Mm.
still get reparations?
Mm. No, see, they no longer under the thumb of the American white man, so they don't get their check. You know what I'm saying? They was able to escape. They got off the plantation. They didn't get their check.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
you know what I'm saying? But oh, he has a trust. Well, good. I'm glad somebody trusted the trust because they knew what the fuck was gonna happen. But imagine, you know, like what's gonna happen is think about it, man. You wake up, and I'm sure like same people with the income tax refunds, all the shit. You know, when it's paper tag season, you know the baby mamas get they this and this. Well, my kid deserved the best. You know what's gonna happen? There will be greater disparities, and the wealth gap will increase. You give niggas, say you gave niggas, your standard American Negro, right? You give your standard American Negro $1 million by, and let's say it was January 1st, 2022. Every black American wakes up with $1 million extra in their bank account. The overwhelming majority will be broke before the end of the year. All of these corporations will have record profits. Whatever, if it's fucking Bentley, like the clothing company, like these frivolous things, the TV companies, the like I say, Bentley, the fucking um, whoever who got the Urus truck with all them shits, they gonna go buy the most expensive ass shit and most expensive ass cars. Can't afford to make it's gonna be fucking Lambos in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it though, you know, you would think, well, see now everybody got money, the crime rate gonna go down. Niggas who got robbing in their heart gonna rob. Nigga have $1 million in their shit and keep robbing. It's niggas who that's what they do. They jack when niggas go hit a lick for $50,000, go rob somebody else the next day for $100. Like they don't. It's not even about that. Like it's just the type of person that they fucking are. So you have niggas. Oh, you got that $1 million check? I'm gonna rob you for that. I'm gonna rob you for this. And it's gonna be bodies, and it's gonna be the kid that all the crime rate's not gonna go down. And then those who had it that don't got it gonna be mad at the spender because they gonna start getting active. Like again, and then what's gonna happen is the people who work for these companies they gonna get a little slight raise and all that stuff. They're gonna buy more guns because niggas gonna get the trip and they're gonna all be mad after all this shit gone. And they're gonna say, well, they didn't give us enough. You know, that ain't the equivalent. And you know, it should have been this, we should have got more. And then, you know, don't let them do it like they do with what's that thing they do in the child care tax credit shit. So if you're over 18, you get $1 million. If you're under 18, they're gonna give you an extra 500,000. You ain't living enough life to be complaining about shit. So the baby mama's gonna be the guy. They gonna with the 4 kids. They gonna end up with a couple of extra. They gonna spend all the kids' money. They gonna go hit their baby daddy up. You need to pay extra child support because I can spend all my check. I need your check. Like it's gonna be a crock of shit. It'll be very entertaining. Don't get me wrong. It'll be extremely entertaining, but it's not going to change because it's going to be the mentality is ingrained. If that's your mentality, they're that type of person. That's what's going to happen.
And Craig Garrick just said it best.
Hmm.
They won't buy one book with that $1 million.
No, no, no. Bookstore's going to be dusty. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the safe. That's going to be the safest place you can be in America. Is at a Barnes and Nobles. You know what I'm saying? At the Starbucks and the Barnes and Nobles. Yes, let me have a double mocha latte, please. Thank you. Like niggas ain't like that's what I'm telling you. Like, that's what shit. It's gonna be your corner store. It's gonna be It's gonna be every nigga gonna cash their check at the corner store. The motherfucker, oh yes, we right there. Just put sign your signature. We got you. You know, it's gonna be a wrap. Nigga gonna be trying to walk out the corner store with cash. And
Shit.
get licked as soon as they get out the fucking store. It's gonna be a big clusterfuck, dog. You know what I'm saying? So again, it is what it is. It's
But I
crazy.
also look at it like this here too, man. I also look at because I said it before too. Uh, yeah, everybody gonna go to the store and be buying this, buying that. Then 3 months later, they're gonna be trying to sell it. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because me and my wife was looking when I before I got my PS5. Me and my wife was looking because you know they was out of stock everywhere.
Yeah.
But they had just came out and they had some refurbished ones. I'm like, wait a minute. You mean tell me people bought these already and sold them? Don't make any sense.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming
Mm-hmm.
from? Don't make any sense. So that's why I'm saying this right here. What is that? What is giving me money going to do? Nothing.
Correct.
It's go quick fix. That's it. If that's what you want, you go on about your business. I agree with you. Give me an education. Give my child a free education. My grandchild a free education. You know, something like that. That's going to help them throughout their whole entire life.
Yeah.
That's going to help. It's not going to teach me how to respect money if you just give it to me. If you just give it to me, hey, this is free money I ain't have to work for. I'm finna go do this and do that. That's what the most mindset of people gonna think. That's what people's mindset is right there. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna pay off their bills, they debt, they creditors. Uh, they're not going to put themselves in a better situation. Like I said, some people maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, we already know because we grew up in these communities. We already know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's going to happen, and they're going to give it to you, and they're going to say, "Well, you got it, so I don't hear your mouth no more." You see what I'm saying? That's what the government going to say. I gave it to you. That's on you.
Yeah. That's
So I don't know. I just think it's not a good idea. But like this, what did Jay Prince say from Rapper Like Records? What did he say? Uh, you want me to give you fish or teach you how to fish?
mm.
Teach me how to fish. I can eat forever. Give me fish. I'm only gonna eat 1 or 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, right there. Enough said.
Yeah, and I see what you're talking about, Ken. I looked at one of them. I was like, hey, I can't do it, bro. StockX, them hoes so fucking high. That shit don't make no sense, dog. I'm fucking hoarding the damn Xbox. But I mean, that's the game these days, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you buy the shit, you get motherfuckers get them box, get them shoes, get all that shit. They just hoard the shit. Ain't Xbox needs to just hurry up and get their shit and start restocking. They've been driving some little restocks here and there. I didn't realize. I think they had one on the 18th, and I wasn't paying attention. I missed it. But yeah, I just rather wait and catch one on the regular. I still play the Xbox One till the Series X is available. And the little white ones are there. I don't want the little white one. The motherfuckers like it's not full 4K or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then I think something else with that one. I think it's digital only. I mean, I like to buy discs every now and then. So yeah, you can get them out by with like 3. I mean, they be in the stores $2.99. I've seen them in person at the Wally World. I'm like, damn, y'all got the little white ones. Shit, get the damn Series X, the real ones, goddamn. But you know, like I said, it's super unfortunate. You know, again, like I said, it all of this boils down to mentality, right?
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, it's unfortunate what our predecessors went through, right? Like what they had to endure. But I don't think most Americans would trade places. If I was to sit here and go to most Black Americans right now and say, okay, you got to trade places with a random African currently living in Africa. I ain't gonna tell you where. I ain't gonna tell you what. I mean, and you just got to switch places, switch lives with them right now. Would you do it? I guarantee you, it's gonna be about a 90 to 95% nope. You know what I mean? You might catch a couple motherfuckers like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, because they built a little different. But I guarantee you, the majority would say no. And the reason why you get to say that is because of the things that our ancestors who were in this country went through. So that we are here now. You say, well, they built this country up to, well, that's why you get to reap the benefits of it now, right? The things that took place here didn't happen in Africa, right? And you say, oh, well, they took the resources and they did all that. But here's the deal: if you're not using the resources, obviously, if you letting them go or you not protect whatever is going on, you obviously don't know how to utilize them effectively. That's why you either selling them or you getting robbed from like. There's a power. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Europeans enslaved Europeans, Asians enslaved Asians. Like people enslave people. That's what's happened throughout history. Again, the last of it on a wide scale happened here in America. Once it shut down, why? Why did it stop? Why did it all of a sudden stop in America? Right? Why did this mainstream transatlantic slave trade, all of this stuff here, it stopped in America. It took a little bit to trickle, around. There's still people trying to do a little bit here and there, but when the momentum decreased is when it stopped in America. Was just America so big on slavery that once it was over that it just ruined it for everybody? No. Motherfuckers have been doing it for hundreds of years, centuries, thousands of years prior to, right? So my thing is like, we're just in a position in history where it was the most recent for us. We're able to recognize it. It's in a country, I guess, where you can say we still remained, where you had other people who were taken from their native country and taken who God knows where and strewn about. And so they didn't keep a history of it. They didn't keep a record of it. You know what I mean? And so you can't go back and look and say, oh man, this is fucking terrible. You know what I mean? Like, just had dead bones and deserts and shit like that. Like, so, like, I get it. And again, it sounds callous what I'm saying, and I can understand to somebody who may not be used to hearing this perspective how it can sound callous. But again, when we talk about playing a game, you got to take the emotion out of it. You know what I'm saying? I look at life as the game. I look at people as animals, right? The fucking lion ain't gonna fucking have mercy on the fucking hyena. Oh, it's a little dog. He ain't got a mane. You know what? He ain't ate in a couple of days. No, I'm gonna utilize every bit of leverage I have. I'm gonna swipe this motherfucker with my paw, and if he eat my dead carcass, I'm gonna kill him too. You know what I'm saying? Because he's taking food out my cub's mouth or whatever the fuck is gonna like.
Yep.
People want to be on this whole "we are one," jump on the love train. Everybody love everybody. Utopian side. That shit ain't gonna shake. And the people who are selling you that, they're just trying to get you to get your guards down so they can, annihilate you. That's how I feel about that shit. But
I can understand that. I get that analogy.
So yeah. Okay.
Oh man. I also want to talk about this here, man. This was something I wanna. This is random. It was just on my mind because me and my wife was talking about this. This has nothing to do with today's topic, but I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Okay.
And I want everybody in the chat to answer too. Would you use your spouse's toothbrush? Think about it before you answer. Think about it. Why would somebody even ask you that? Just think about your answer before you answer it. Oh man. Would you use your spouse's toothbrush? I know that's random, that's way left field. I know people like, what in the hell is man I'm talking about? I know. But would you use your spouse's toothbrush?
Like, are we like just at home? I don't have one. Like, are we out of town and I forgot to like
No,
bring one?
just would you use it? That was the question. All right, put it like this. I'm gonna tell you why I asked you that question. Me and my wife like to watch, these things on YouTube, about other couples, just random everyday stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one question that they asked. My wife said, "Hell no, that's disgusting."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I see where you thinking that,
Mm-hmm.
but we're married.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I ain't gonna, go into graphics for you.
Yeah. That's where I'm
Use
at.
your imagination.
I'm a nasty motherfucker. So, shit. Damn, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like,
we've done every damn thing there is to do. So if I got something, you got it. So what my mouth? I was like, I get where she's coming from because we all thought they as kids, but that's why I said your spouse. Just think about that for a second.
yeah, I mean, that's where my mind first went. I'm like, I've done some pretty
Oh
off the
man,
wall. We use off the wall will be the term.
yeah.
But I mean, at this point, like shit, fuck it.
Oh man, somebody said ball it first. Somebody said that's unapologetic. Somebody said hell no. No, so I just had to. Because that was on my mind. I had to ask you that question because I was like, I mean, if you think about it, I said, okay, first of all, we kiss, so of course we swapping saliva. That's and I'm not gonna go no further than that. Y'all know everything else. Uh, so why is that disgusting? My mouth is already, nasty. You know what I'm saying? Your mouth is already nasty because of the food you eat and stuff like that. And some people, whatever. So then I was like, what's the problem? Oh man.
Absolutely not. Quetzalcoatl, terrible. I have my limits. I push them. I push my limits quite frequently, but I still got my limits. That's terrible. Yeah.
All right, now I'm sorry. I just had to, man. I just had to because that was on my mind. Somebody asked Hunter to see what he said.
That's funny.
Oh, because we watch a lot of stuff, with other couples and stuff like that, and that was one of the questions that they asked. And the woman said no, and the man said yeah, and I said yeah. I mean, oh man.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to. I'm just going.
Yeah, I mean, we all adults. We know what goes on. Don't say it on the tube because but you get it.
Yeah, because it's funny that the women lean and tend to say no, but anyway, that's a whole Anywho, but yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. It was something that happened. I wanted to speak. I forgot. That's why I got to start taking notes and writing down thoughts and things. Did I put it? I might have put it in my Evernote app. Cause it was another dilly that I wanted to do and speak on, but I might not. Excuse me. No, that's. But okay, so we were talking about the reparations, like, who, we would decide like who gets to get it and who doesn't. But like, who is the person that gets to dole it out? Like, who? I mean, are we expecting the government to do this? Because is it the government that benefited? Does it have to be taken away from, specific families that were known slave owners? What if they were terrible slave managers? Like, what if they were like some of these motherfuckers with livestock? They be having the fucking anorexic horses and shit, be dying livestock. Like, what if they weren't very profitable slave owners? You know what I mean? Like, who do you get the money from? Is the government just supposed to whip the money up out of nowhere? That's what, like I say, that's what this whole thing is. Who is supposed to pay these wages? Like you mentioned, what's the saying? There's no such thing as a free lunch. So the money doesn't come from the sky. You know what I mean? Like, it has to originate from somewhere, or even if it does come from the sky, eventually there will be some type of finances that have to be collected. Oh, that's dirty as hell.
Oh man, okay, Grace. All right, I'm sorry. I won't ask that question no more. Don't break my beard up. Oh man, but that's a good one though. Where is it going to come from? Who's going to distribute it? how much are you determined to get? I mean, yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of factors that come into play.
Mm-hmm.
There is. And like I said before, okay, you could be born in America. What if you move? Do you
Mm-hmm.
still get it? What if you're not fully black?
Mm-hmm.
You get some, that one drop like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what if once one slave family done more work than the other slave family? Uh, uh, I mean, it's, I don't, I don't understand why people still waiting on this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it would have happened, it was going to happen.
Yes.
It would have happened already.
Oh, but it's gonna happen again in what's this? This 21. So in about 3 years, promises of reparations will come back. They will be a hot topic. They will be a hot button issue because right now a certain individual uh, currently in office is not doing things that people are liking, and he's upsetting some folks. But again, when it comes time for needing to allocate your acceptance, hey, well, I wasn't able to do it the first time because I was dealing with everything else. But I promise you guys, you holler at me again, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get them references. It's always gonna become a thing, and the more people that come into the planet, the country, that are born, where they, are invited here, where they slide in illegally, do they get
Mm-hmm.
do they get a piece of the jackpot? Is it one big number? Again, so
Mm-hmm.
this is why this talk keeps happening because there's that other group
And
that
then
has.
I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
Who gets what first?
Mm,
Because that's gonna amongst a lot of black people, that's gonna be an issue right there.
mm,
Why you got yours first?
mm,
What they trying to say? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. If they did it, they
That's
should give it to the older folks first. That's the ones who had to wait the longest. They've been hearing this bullshit every 4 years for a long ass time. Uh, yeah, but it's gonna be something. It's gonna always be something. And that's the thing when you're of that mind state of somebody owes me something because I exist, even though I didn't contribute to it. You're going to be mad at any and every one who gets it before you, who you think is benefiting, who you think owes you something. And like I said, a lot of these same people now, okay, let me go ahead and say
oh
now. I
Lord,
got to clarify
oh
that.
Lord.
Tend to be people who are not only upset and down about that, they tend to have a lot of other things that weigh them down mentally, and you have to wonder: is this a character of culture? Is this an individual mindset issue? Like maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's not the reparation that's holding you back. It's not. Maybe it's a mental problem that you got going on that's preventing you from seeing your potential success, your abilities. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They was acting crazy over the stimulus check. You could imagine how they're gonna act over a damn reparations check. I'm telling you, it'll be worse than Dave Chappelle ever imagined. Al hand out checks, ain't nobody getting none. Speaking of that, did what's the name ever get over the Rona? Who's the other one?
What that?
Who was the what? Jason Whitlock, he was supposed to propose. I don't know. I didn't see that. Um, who was the other one? Jesse? Yeah, Jesse. I know he had him and his wife. I think both had it. He said he wasn't doing too hot a while back. Yeah, Sharpton's a known informant. That's the crazy part, right?
I didn't know this here.
Yeah, Jesse got it a little while back. Um,
That's cool. I didn't know that. But yeah. Uh, also too, people gonna be trying to stunt on social media. You know,
mhm,
saying that's gonna open up some more floodgates.
mhm,
Then people gonna be trying to brag about what they got. In your face.
mhm.
That's gonna open up more floodgates.
Yeah,
Then also too, guess what else is gonna happen?
what's that?
Just think about what's going on right now. What else is gonna happen? That just crossed my mind. They're gonna have up even more hot now hiring signs all over the world,
Oh yeah.
all over, all
Oh
over the
man.
country.
Oh man. Yeah, it's gonna be.
So people gonna feel like they ain't gotta go to work no more.
Yeah, and that's what it's gonna be the downfall of a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then what it is gonna do? And here's the thing that people aren't really thinking about is right now, black folks have not all, a lot, have a resentment towards white people because they feel there's quote unquote white privilege and there's all this other bullshit that these terms that people come up with. And so they have a resentment towards the white folks, right?
Yeah.
What happens when that turns around? Because all the black folks got a bunch of money for being black. None of these people have been slaves. You say you got a hard working white man been working his whole life, right? Because see, for some reason, black folks think that there's no white man struggle. There's like the white men don't work. Like again, a lot of these motherfuckers work. A lot of them work very hard. You know what I mean? They have in their own right. Like it wasn't just slaves that did every piece of work and infrastructure and everything, and then all of a sudden everybody else just enjoys the benefits from it. People are working every day. And so, what happens to his children? Say he's working hard, he'll make a whole lot of money. His kids see that, and they see that, the friend that they used to live next door to, maybe they might have all been down kind of bad or not living in the greatest spot. Now, all of a sudden, for being black, his whole family got a bunch of money. And they came up, and they were rich. You don't think that creates resentment in the other parties? It's human nature, right? It's just how it is. I mean, people don't, as a whole in general, people are envious. People are, kind of like that. So then you're going to create more problem in the race relations. Now, that's just a byproduct of it. I think something that'll happen. I don't think that's necessarily the cause to not do it, but we've listed 1,000 other reasons why it's not beneficial. But I think that this is a byproduct of it. So then things start happening, and then you have more issues, right? So, and again, I agree, because what's going to happen is motherfuckers going to blow through that shit because they didn't have to put the work. They didn't have to put in the blood, sweat, and or tears. It just appeared. Some magic numbers appeared in their bank account, right? And so, like I say, you're going to go out and, like I say, buy the Bentley, buy the Ferrari. And like I say, people going to try to stunt, but they motherfuckers be like, nigga, I know where you got that money from. Yeah, that's that reparation money. You ain't do shit. You ain't balling. You ain't selling. Motherfuckers going to be acting like fake dope dealers, getting robbed. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, though. They come out, they give out reparations. I'm opening a club and I'm calling that bitch the Plantation.
Ooh.
That's gonna be the most fire club ever. Come spend your reparation money on the Plantation, baby. I
already know where you're going with that. I know exactly what, and people will do it. Yeah. They don't mind with that dumb mindset already. They do not mind if they see a black person with the name Plantation on the club name. Yeah, I already know where you're going with that. Yeah.
And they gonna come to the Plantation. They're gonna fucking be spending money, taking all their pictures on the ground. Look, we balling on the Plantation. Look, I'm gonna have all the little sparklers and everything. I'm 5 times the price of everything. You know what I'm saying? What? You want some motherfucking Malibu rum? $300 a bottle. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other cheap shit. I don't even know if they still make Malibu rum.
Want some wine coolers? Want some wine coolers? $100.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the most basic shit. So it's gonna be some old terrible shit, man.
Now that's how you make your money right there.
I'm sorry, I do the most, because see, like I say, it's the game. Like the most ridiculous sounding shit is basically what you do these days, because apparently that's what's winning. Is just being ridiculous is where we are. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it. I ain't gonna ever be at the club. I'm gonna have somebody else running the club. I'm gonna have plenty of cameras, and I'm prosecuting all you niggas. You niggas can't. That's why we can't have nice shit. I'm prosecuting and I'm suing because I know them niggas got some money. I'm gonna sue before they spend it all up, man. Shit, yeah, that nigga right there. I want a civil suit and a fucking press charge. I want all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit. Man. Just don't get rich.
But hey, I bet you right now, if you were to do that you would be one of the most successful men to ever walk this earth.
It'll be on the news. He came up a billionaire in 1 month after he got reparations. I'm like, well, see, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it, Honcho? How'd you figure it? Well, what you got to understand is I know niggas. I've been raised around niggas all my life. I know the nigga tendencies. I have a little bit of nigga tendency in me. So that allows me to see, It's like a
Yep.
spidey sense. It's the niggy spidey sense. And so I know when niggas about to nig. And so I just nig before the niggas nig, and I made it big. You know, that's the strategy. That's how you do it. And that's the interview right there. Oh
And they gonna
man.
be like, "What the hell he just say?"
Yeah. Can he say that on television? Well, he just bought the station, so yes, he can. Ah, yes, yes. So this is now the Honcho News Network, and we talk about nothing but
Yep.
nigga shit.
Yep. That's exactly what you should do too. Hell yeah. Hey, come on, spend that money over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hell yeah. What you want? What you want? God damn it.
Good
Hey, you
night,
want to buy one
Michelle.
of my wrestling belts? Come on now. $600. Come on.
You got
$7,000. What's up?
price going up by the minute. Look. You gotta be on up. It took too long. That seismic is gonna cost you. I'm just telling you.
Oh man. Oh man. And that's the thing though too. See, that's one thing I try to teach my daughter as well too. Yeah, just like you seen it one time I
Mhm.
try to get my daughter out there to work. You have to understand the value of a dollar. And if I give you money, you're not gonna understand how it really works. It's just something in the brain that's not gonna get you to understand how this thing really works. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really understand it until I got my butt out there and started making my money, and I realized, shit, I don't want to just spend this dollar I just earned. You
Mhm.
know, I spend that dollar that was given to me,
Yeah.
but not the one I just earned. You see what I'm saying? That, so that's the thing that I think that we need to understand here too, is that you got to learn to respect the money. Also too, I want to go back to the slavery thing real quick.
Mhm.
The reason why I keep saying that we need to, I'm not going to say get over it because that's not the right term. I would say, uh, yeah, just know that it did happen, but we can't use that as an excuse for the way we live our lives. Because if that's the case, then none of us, nobody that look like us, would be able to do anything on this earth if we constantly did something like Hunter, I don't know if you watch mediocre touring reviews. I don't know if you watch his stuff, but
I don't think I'm subscribed. I see it. It comes across my timeline. I've watched one or two videos a while back. But I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
he did a video one time where he said he paid off his $300,000 house in 2.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we need to be doing with our money, stuff like that, putting it towards something to where the money can grow.
Mm-hmm.
A home, a piece of land, is going to always grow unless you just totally destroy it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to always grow in value, no matter what, no matter what the economy looks like, no matter I mean, it's going to grow. So I think that's one thing that when he put that video out there, I was like, first of all, I thought that was amazing because I never heard nobody paying off their house in 2.5 years. Second, I was like, yeah, he's right. Put your money towards something that it can work for you, and property will always work for you. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's one thing that we've been joking, talking crap about this, but I think that's one thing that we need to do. Let's just say we got the reparations tomorrow. Let's just say it hit my bank account tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I see it there. Oh, damn. First thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to pay off my bills and I'm going to try to figure out a way to invest that so I can retire sooner than what I want.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't have that mindset. And Travis said he want to be your bouncer at your club. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, you could be the doorman, Travis.
I'm gonna have to give you
But
the crash course in niggerology. You know what I'm saying? But I got
oh man.
you. To see the nigga
Uh,
bat signals before they happen. You know?
but I think that's what we need to do as well too. Try to put that money to work for you. But we know, like you just said though, we've been around this. We know what's going to great 9 times 10 what's going to happen, but it's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen what needs to happen. What's going to happen is negativity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen. So let's just keep it real.
I'm gonna
You
be
know what
honest.
I'm saying?
Look, what I would do, look, I'm gonna go Soon as that reparation check hit, I'm going to buy all the projects. Hear me out. Hear me out. Because they're gonna have to get their ass out. They ain't on affordable living no more. They millionaires. They all got their little $1 million motherfucking reparation checks. Now they gotta get the fuck up out the projects. And then, like I said, five, I give it probably more closer to 5 weeks than 5 months. They're gonna be broke and they're gonna need to move back into the projects. But now there's gonna be some newly renovated, nicer looking homes. Can't move in here. I'm gonna turn these into some apartments for, I wouldn't say low income, but we'll figure it out. I don't know, you can put them on houses and get paid, something like that. But yeah, as soon as y'all gotta get y'all ass about this motherfucker, because y'all will be back. I know they'll be looking real good for y'all when y'all come back to bring your housing voucher and all that good shit. We got you. But yeah, it's just that you're right though. It's like it needs to be more focused on investment. Like somebody said, instant gratification. Yeah, it's my money and I want it now. Who is it? J.G. Wentworth made probably millions off of just that statement alone. It's my money and I want it now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, we give you your money, but you say you got $1 million coming in. All right. Well, we'll give you 600,000 right now, and you let us get the rest of it. Well, that shit stacks up. You know what I mean? So it's
That's
people are
another
going to
thing.
do it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but while it's on my mind, I want to say that. That's another thing people don't get with that damn commercial. It's like you think let's just say you're supposed to get $1 million in your settlement. You think you're going to get $1 million if you do a cash advance on your lawsuit? Hell no. They going to get that cut for helping you out.
Yeah.
I forgot who I explained that to one day. I think it was one of my coworkers. It was somebody I explained that to. I forget. But I was like, so you mean to tell me that they're not going to get paid anything? Hell no. If you got $1 million coming right now, you might get, like you just said, 600,000. You're not getting all that money.
Yeah, they can definitely take a cut out of it.
They getting their cut for helping you out to get your money right now. They're getting their cut.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like
Also, I just had to say that because I was playing to somebody. I forget who. It was a while back. I forget who I was talking to about that. But I was like, you really think that?
The lawyer getting his cut. The lawyer getting his cut. J.G. Wentworth getting a cut. You're gonna be looking fucked up. You just say that $1 million looking closer to 550,000. It's gonna be looking less and less. If the lawyer get a third, and Delta say they get 25%, shit. I'm not saying that it still ain't a nice chunk of change depending on how much it is you actually getting, but it's not what it could have been. Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Yeah, everything. Like who believes? That's crazy because you got niggas who do think a corporation is just looking out for them. And who was it? Who is it in Houston? What's that motherfucking name? I was gonna hit me and say the tough smart lawyer. Jim Adler, tough smart lawyer, and you see his commercials all the time on TV. I remember seeing his commercials when being a kid. Call Jim Adler, tough smart lawyer. You think Jim Adler's gonna go to work for free just because you got hit by 18-wheeler? No, Jim Adler gonna want his money out of there. But niggas gonna go to Jim Adler because they seen them commercials. Shit, should be working. That shit there was wild. Now you got his son too.
Yeah, that's another thing that I was saying that about people that they get child support. I'm like, you think the government ain't gonna get their cut? If he gotta pay $1,000 a month in child support, you gonna get maybe, I'm just throwing a number out there, you're gonna get $800. You're not getting that whole $1,000. You can get that. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Then you got taxes, then you got all kinds of different fees they're gonna throw out on you. Some kind of, everything. You mean, so you're not getting all that money. I forgot. It's killing me now. I can't think of it. But it was somebody I was explaining it. And I was like, my wife's nephew. That's what I was explaining it. My wife's nephew. And I was telling them, I was like, you really think that they ain't gonna get paid no kind of money whatsoever from you?
Yeah.
No, that's not how this world works. This world ain't nothing but a big dollar sign.
Yeah,
that's all this is. That's all it is.
Cut.
Yep. And if you ready to go, if you ready to give them their money, they willing to take it. So It's just like when you uh uh get a cash advance or something like that. If you can wait till it hit your bank, or you can get it now. But if you get it now, they're gonna charge you a X amount of dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's
So I
crazy.
don't know. It just I don't know.
Well, good night, Miss K Grace. Um, that's crazy though. Yeah, like you got to pay more child support because your income went up. So it was good enough when I was making whatever I was making. That was adequate. But now that I'm making more, the kid needs more. I don't comprehend. You know what I mean? Like I get it. Take care of your children. I'm not saying be a deadbeat, but going through the courts for
You got
shit
a
like
point.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's like what
I
you
was
said. Hmm, Go ahead.
sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. I thought you was done. But I remember watching this one video a few years ago where this guy was talking about paying child support. He said, one, do your rent or mortgage go up in your current home that you're living in just because you had a child? No. Your bills might go up a little bit, like your light bills or whatever. But of course, then how much money are you actually spending on the child themselves? And he broke it down all the way to T to science. He broke it down. He said, let's just say you buy a box of cereal. Is your child going to eat that whole entire box of cereal, or you, the dad, the mom, some company, some relatives, whoever come over, they gonna eat some of that cereal? So that's the box of cereal costs $5. Your child probably ate $1 or $2 worth of cereal. Like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. He has a point.
Yeah.
I mean, how much money is actually going towards your child? And you said it best right there. The child is well taken care of off of $200 a month. I'm just throwing something out there. I know it's more than that, y'all. So don't don't say man up. It
two
costs
hundred
more than that.
dollars. $200. I don't pay
So
for the gas in the car.
I'm just throwing a number out there. Child lives good off $200 a month. Now, why in the hell when I move out, get my own place, me and the mom don't work out? I just say me and my wife, we got a divorce. Now I got to pay child. Now, how in the hell all of a sudden now my child needs $600 a month?
Hmm.
And that's what the man said in that video a long time ago, and he has a point. I was like, you got a point. I never thought about it like that. The only thing that really truly goes up is the bills in the household, like the light bill or maybe gas or whatever. Those will go up because, of course, you're using more of it if somebody else is at home. But your rent/mortgage don't go up. You might get another vehicle. It all depends on your situation. You might get a new vehicle, so that's you know kind of that's up in the air. Things like that. But how is it? He said it to a T. He said, if I'm staying with the mom, me and the mom together, and on average, I might spend exactly just $200 a month on a child, and the child living great, don't need nothing, well fed, everything's taken care of with that child. Now, how all of a sudden when I move out, now I got to pay $600 a month. That's something to think about.
Yeah. There was a lady on TikTok. TikTok's a crazy place. A lot of crazy people there, but there are some very sensible people there. Lady on TikTok, and she had broken down because I think she was talking about her mom and her dad situation, something like that, or it might have been her husband and ex-wife, something, whatever it was. And she basically broke down, I think, with his money and the child support and how because she's making less money and everything. But when she broke everything down and when it was all said and done with the taxes and everything that went into it, the mom is making significantly more money than the dad is because of all the child support shit he has to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's crazy, right? Because look, oh, he makes more. That's just the stigma. Well, they make more money, so I need more money. But in reality, depending on the numbers, everybody's numbers are going to be different. A lot of times the fucking woman end up making more money than the man, and if she's not working, if she's getting alimony or something else like that, she,
A lot of
saying,
times, a lot of times people don't understand this too. On a regular job, women make more money than us.
yeah,
think about what I'm trying to say here, because I was having this conversation with my wife because we was talking about, who gets paid more on a job. I said, well, it depends on the job itself because a lot of women are not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, if you think about this here, women get paid more. And she said, how you figure that? I said, well, when it comes to maternity leave, when it comes to a child getting sick, who is more likely to take off? Well, maternity does, the woman, but who is more likely to take off when the child gets sick? The mom. And in most cases, you get paid for that. You get paid to not work. If I take off right now, like when my wife was pregnant with my daughter, I was only able to take off for 2 weeks, and I had to go back to work. My wife was out of work for like 6 months or something like that, 4 months, somewhere around there, and still was getting paid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So women also get more, well, can get. I'm not gonna say every job's like that, it's not, but a lot of jobs give them more benefits even when it comes to things like that. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't throw that. They just see. And here's the thing that I also said too, because we got into this discussion. I even got to discussion with other females as well. I said if companies can pay women less money and it's okay, don't you think there'll be nothing but women working these days?
Exactly.
Not one company on this earth pay you less money just because you're female. I always say, just name me one. Of course, I never get an answer, but I always say, name me one company that pays you less money just because you're female. I said, right now, go to Walmart. I just threw Walmart out there. I said, go to Walmart. I said they can start everybody start pay at $18 an hour. That's what it is. But for some odd reason, women think men get paid more. I said there was a study done. I forget exactly what it was. There was a study that was done. All they did was said, I'm gonna ask 100 men, I'm gonna ask 100 women, how much you get paid a year. And of course, the man made more. But they didn't take into fact that, like I said, women take off for maternity leave. Some women basically quit their job because they want to be stay-home moms for a little while until the kid get older. Women are more likely to take part-time jobs than men. Men take more dangerous jobs, so that of course there's going to be more pay. Then I said, men are more likely to work more overtime than women as well too. So they didn't throw all that into a factor. They just said, how much do the man make per year? How much do the woman make per year? Oh, men make more money.
Yeah.
That's it. They didn't throw all these factors in, and I'm pretty sure there's more. But I said, if Walmart can get away with paying women less money to do the same work, don't you think there'll be nothing but women working right now?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just think about that. A company is always willing to save a dollar some kind of which way. So don't you think there would be nothing but women working? There wouldn't be no man working nowhere if women get paid less money to do the same job. So I said, where did that come from? That's stupid. No company is going to pay you less money just because you're a female. I always say this: name me one job, just one. That's
Like I
all I
say,
ask for.
you have to, when you really start to account for the factors in a lot of these studies and surveys and everything, you kind of get rid of the generalities and start to, look at things as equal and to try to make, match things up. It always comes out like that. It's always easy to say, oh, well, these people are doing this and doing that. And it's similar to the thing that I was talking about with the educational people. I went to school 8 years and I only get, $40,000 out. They went to school 4 years and they getting, 100,000. Well, what did you go to school for? What field did you decide to get in? You know what I mean? Like if you get into a dying field or something that's useless, well, you're probably not gonna get paid that much. You know what I mean? Or they get into something where they require them to have more difficult study. Because no, it's because they're white. What are you talking about? What are you saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it's like it has nothing to do with that. Right? You don't automatically get more money from more school. Like you said, you don't get paid less because you're a woman. Because companies would love to use that. Because then they'd have a double-edged sword. It would be one, they're winning and they're making profit. Then they'd also be out in the media talking about, yeah, we're the biggest hirer of women in the country, and people love that. We create a safe work environment with nothing but women and all kind of other bull. So they say they use that to sway all kind of bull. And but like you said, it's not true. It does not make sense. But again, people just want to hear that end number. Just they not the feeling or not the actual action that takes place. Man is working overtime, putting in more hours, working actually every single day. Like you said, taking a more dangerous job. Still yet to see a female garbage woman, garbage man, whatever you want to call it.
Like I said before, I have never ever seen a female construction worker. I ain't talking about the construction worker that just hold the sign. I'm talking about the ones with the sledgehammers, the jackhammers, the ones actually going in the sewers, laying the brick. I've not seen one in my life.
Mm-mm. So you got your cell phone in the trunk of the car, forgot about it, and ran it over. Oh, that's a sad day. A sad day, Sarah. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. So you run the multivariate analysis. The gender wage gap is 2 to 3%. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, that's negligible. You know what I mean? It's not. Again, you start looking at it for same job, everything. It's not a thing. And then you got to look at the small factors, and
Yeah,
depending on the field in which men are more likely to do a little bit more work than women, right?
because I was talking with my wife about this, and I said, so we're watching King of Queens, and everybody's heard of that show before, whether you like it or not. Everybody's heard of it. One of my favorite TV shows. But anyway, we were watching King of Queens, and we all know Kevin James' name was Doug on the show, but his
Yeah.
real name is Kevin James. We all know, he was the star,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, man, well, anyway, I can't think of her name right now. We'll come to
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yeah.
That was her name on the show, Carrie. She, we know she was the star as well too. She
Mm-hmm.
did just as much as him
Yeah.
on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But what a lot of people don't realize, the reason why he was getting paid more money because he was a producer and he was also a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So he had three duties, but she just had one.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to get paid more money.
Right.
Same with the TV show Martin. Martin was a producer.
Mm-hmm.
We all know before all that crap went down with him and Keisha Campbell, uh, you know, he of course he was a producer, so he's going to get more money. That's just how it works. He's doing more of the work.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't take that stuff into consideration either.
Mm-hmm.
When I bring that up, just to say, what are you doing on the job itself? So that's the reason why you're getting paid more money. The man's getting paid more money because he's doing more stuff. See what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't look at that. So I'm a forever until the day I'm in the ground continue to ask, man, one job that says I'm gonna pay you less money because you're female. There ain't none. It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take everything into factor before you open your mouth and say certain things. You have to take everything into consideration. Why is a man getting paid more money? Is it because he had a better education, went to a better school, got more experience? Is it because he's doing more dangerous work? Is it because he's doing more hours than you? Is it because he's not at home doing the maternity leave with the kid? It's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into factor that people don't take into consideration. And that's one thing I constantly ask. Just give me one. There ain't one.
Mm-hmm.
That's all If you ain't gave me an answer yet, there ain't none. You see what I'm saying? So, hey.
I'll have to look that up. I don't know about that Florida bridge collapse. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all are talking about. I'm gonna go on Snopes and find out. Even though Snopes is fugazi. I'm just fucking with y'all.
I ain't heard nothing about that. Wow. I'll look that up now. Wow.
I can't listen to nothing about that talk about.
What happened when you went to the hookah bar, Easy Money?
Hookah or hookers? Big difference. Big difference. Gotta be careful how you say it. But while we well, like I said, we are it is about that time. Well, we're gonna get ready to wind it down. Man, when the last time you focused some Dead by Daylight?
I think the last I played it one time after me and you played. That was it.
We're gonna have to when I was a slave teacher came in, I remember saying what the clothes for him. That's funny. And we have to get on it again sometime soon. But I ain't played in a while. I was just talking about that the other day. I ain't played that shit. I think the last time we played was the last time I fucked with it. So like I said, we have to get us a Dead by Daylight group going. I can't do that with the Mortal Kombat. I've seen how you is on the Mortal Kombat. I ain't got nothing to play. I don't want no smoke.
Oh man, you cracked me up that game. I was laughing so hard I couldn't concentrate no more. When you came in, you said your major comment. I just bust out laughing. I could not stay concentrated no more. I started losing. I was like, oh my god, that just cracked me up with that one. Oh man.
Oh yeah, they not. Yeah, the tube ain't gonna tell you. So I say I got to make sure y'all following on the proper social medias listed below. I make sure I try to post on there before we go live because I know I've had a lot of people tell me that even with the notification thing full and everything, that they don't get it. That's why I try to be consistent with a certain time, so that way people just know when to show up. And
Oh come on,
yeah,
Honcho.
I can't help it. It got me. But but yeah, what games do I fuck with? Man, I ain't been playing with too much lately. Like I said, the last I played, I think the last time I played any game was when we played that Dead by Daylight. We ran that. I don't think I've played anything since. Shit, they added like 2 killers since then. They added what was it, Nemesis since Red from Resident Evil and Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Oh, I
So
got
and
I gotta go.
yeah,
I
and I
gotta
fuck.
renew my PlayStation membership too.
Yeah.
I got
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, I think I just did mine yesterday. I need to, and then I think I got that. Yeah, I didn't think I did. I got that Tony Hawk, that Pro Skater 1 and 2. You know, they remastered it. That shit used to be real
Oh,
live back in the day, so I grabbed that. Uh,
oh, okay.
so I'm gonna fuck with it eventually. I got it. I just ain't played it yet. Trying to think what else. That's about it. But anything you want to say to the people before we get ready to slide out of here, Mr. Man Up? Because
Man, I appreciate you having me on. I know I say that all the time, but I have to. Let's let you know, man. I appreciate it. It's always a good time when I come join you again, talk to noise, act cool, have some fun. Uh, Also too, I appreciate all y'all that joined the show, that will watch the show later, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. And also too, she didn't want me to say anything, but also to my wife who was watching this stuff too. She never commented, but I was trying to get her to comment, but she would. But I know she was watching. So,
well, shout out
but
to Woman Up or Wife Up, whichever you prefer.
but also too, man, I just want to say I appreciate you, man, for having me on. It's always a good time, man. And with that being said, man, next time I'm available, I'm gonna hit you up.
That's
Do
a
the
bet.
thing.
That's a bet. Super simple. And I saw some of y'all ask who's the gentleman joining us. If y'all aren't familiar, this is Man Up. What to do? Check the channels on my favorite channels on the main Den page. You can catch the channel. And like I said, it's just if you enjoy it, along with some other good channels there, so definitely check out all the channels I recommend. They're great. Yeah, I don't know about Miss Meach. I don't know if she's been active, but she need to sit down. Wherever she at, she watching. Ain't no rise up. Sit down. Um,
Uh,
but again, so man, I appreciate y'all. You too, Mr. Man Up. Like I said, every time we come through, we have a good time. It's always a good conversation, lots of fun. And so, yeah, go to do 713. So the link ain't in the description. I don't think it's in the description, but it's on the, like I say, just go to the Den YouTube page. It's right there, and the list of the favorite channels. So you ain't got no excuse. Drops a lot of great videos. If you like his opinions here, you're gonna like the opinions on the channel. So make sure you check that out. But with that being said, I'm gonna get my ass in the bed. Uh, just been so tired. Probably have to fight Scotty. Probably trying to snuck his ass. He's trying to sneak in the fucking bed after kick his ass out and he want to growl. I'll elbow drop you, little dog. I don't know who you think you growling at. But that being said, like I said, I'm gonna chuck up a deuce. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Mr. Man Up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And with this being said, Deacon Up, you might be a little bit behind us. Yeah, I know Snubs is bullshit. That's why I was jumping around when I said it. But tomorrow, whoa, let me not lie to y'all. Tomorrow it will not be a den. Tomorrow, Texas got the late game tomorrow, so I will be on the other channel in the sauce. But Friday we'll be back at it, and so you know that's that. So until Friday, it's sad. I ain't gonna see y'all for a day to den. I feel sad about that. I forgot all about it. But until the end, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all ain't got to go home, but you gotta get the fuck out the den until Friday.